It's late, but you're not alone. Hi, welcome to my very first episode of What About Stars. Today, it's just gonna be a short introduction. Let's just dive right into it. I'm the kind of person that would have a lot of midnight thoughts, and that's when I feel like I need somebody to confide into. But I don't really have anybody to confide into things because I feel like there are so many things on people's plates and it just doesn't feel right if I would add more into them. And I would just feel bad. And clearly, in this physical realm that we live in, everybody have so many kind of stress and it's accumulating day by day. And I'm just afraid that if I were to confide in people, they're gonna even have more things on their plates. And that's when this podcast started. And I thought it would be a great idea for my anxious mind, my constant paranoia, overthinking, and this just feels right for my nervous system, especially growing up in an Asian household. It hasn't always been easy being the oldest daughter, having to keep up on everybody's measuring sticks day by day. So I hope this podcast helps you calm your anxious mind. And I just feel like it's normal to just keep yapping about things. Like, you're not annoying, you're not irritating. I just need people to know that it's okay to express yourself, whether you're a guy, you're a girl, go ahead and express yourself. And if you can't, make a podcast. Make a podcast and eventually it'll take off. On the channel's bio, I put up about unfiltered thoughts and kind of reminding people about why they're not crazy the way they think they are. I just feel like society, especially with the culture of denial being so blatant, I just feel like it feels so wrong to speak up for what's right. Like, that's pretty self-explanatory. Like, there are times when you want to speak up for someone who's being bullied, but you just can't help it but to just be a bystander because you're afraid that you might get bullied again. And it's just so unreasonable. And I don't understand people blatantly lying to others and making the other person feel insane for almost overreacting, quote unquote overreacting, or just speaking the truth. And a lot of people would just use the quote, move on. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, oh, we're humans, we make mistakes. But at this age, especially when I'm in my 20s, or like people around me are growing up faster than their age, I feel like people know what they're doing. And the fact that they call you crazy for speaking up for what's right, or for even having a sharp tongue, because I'm just someone who can't live under shadows or live in the dark, where I'm just okay with people's lies just floating around me. I can't do that. So having a sharp tongue can be wrong in this generation where fake is so normalized that people these days are so offended by honesty. Like, that is such a great quote I saw on TikTok. I forgot what the username is, but leave it in the comment section if you know who posted that. But yeah, I thought that it's so crazy to me to see my generation kind of evolve into a generation that's so out of touch, so unevolved in a way. Because I thought all of us grow up to be more mature, more responsible, and more accountable for our actions. But some people think that it's actually normal to push the blame onto other people. Oh, and talking about pushing the blame, especially in this Asian household, or even just, I don't know which generation has passed down its blame culture to like our generation, where people are just constantly blaming each other instead of holding accountability for their own actions. And I'm talking from experience when I've met such great, warm hearted people turn so cold because of trying to fit into expectations. And it sucks because along the way, I've lost so many people, but also gained maybe just one or two few people. Being sensitive, being emotional in this generation. And what hurts even more is that they're pointing you out for overreacting, for their wrongdoing is just blatant sins. Yeah. And I just wish there were more people in this world that would hold accountable for their own actions instead of just running away and crying and saying that I'm human and I make mistakes, but mistakes can't be made so badly to the point where it kind of tortures or traumatizes the other person, right? All of these kind of fall into human decency where I unfortunately don't really believe in humanity anymore. I just hope there will be somebody out there who would kind of pull me back into the light, like hold me and look me in the eye and just tell me like, hey, there are still some really kind-hearted people in the world. Like, I know that there are so many evil, cold people out there, but they just need a little bit of warmth. But hey, like, you're just somebody who's so full of light, so passionate, but it just sucks that you're so genuine in a world full of people who aren't themselves because they're trying to fit in. And with all the expectations of social media coming in, it never ends. Like the expectations every day, it keeps flowing in, and people just keep getting skinnier and skinnier, and people look the same and dress the same, talk the same, they act the same, and they somehow weirdly have the same hobbies because they think it's aesthetically pleasing. And that will be created in another episode where I talk more about social media and standards and how it's changed people. But right now, it's just people are making you seem crazy when they are the crazy ones trying to fit in. The whole culture of denial kind of derived from generational trauma that's been passed on to our generation. And I wish more people wake up and be like, hey, you don't really have to fit into what your parents have to say because it's just like, it's their way of projecting their dissatisfaction in this lifetime, like, I'm sorry that they have to go through what we didn't have to go through, but hey, we don't have to go through what they went through. Like, it's our own life. Like, what's the point of giving yourself so heavy baggages in this lifetime? Like, it kind of sucks. Yeah, the whole predetermined culture kind of comes in where like every parent has their own desirable kid and expectations and everything. It's just so tiring. It's like even before the day you were born, like there were already names picked out for you, or what kind of occupation, what kind of like sexuality your parents want you to be, something like that. So like crazy expectations even before we were born. It's all so bizarre. And now that I'm here, it just feels so heavy but empty at the same time. It's kind of ironic. I created this podcast because sometimes it's just difficult to find people my age who think like me, quote unquote, strict expectations. Because talking about crazy, having reciprocation coming back to you when you give it to someone and they don't give it back to you and they're like, hey, I'm going through a really tough time. Can you just give me space or can you like be more considerate? But it's just like I was considerate to everybody, even though I was going through a really rough patch. Things like that. And these small little things kind of accumulate and make you and me the kind of person we are. Like, unfortunately, I can't help it but to be called once every while a bitch because I speak up for myself, and somehow society decides that, okay, as just because a woman or a girl who speaks up for herself and has really strong philosophy and boundaries, okay, let's just generate a name and let's just call her a bitch. Unfortunately, that's how the world works. But for me, I don't take that as an insult. I kind of embrace it in a way where a lot of, I would say, maybe just insufferable people would just call me a bitch. I'm like okay with that because it's like I would never call myself a bitch. Never. Not because I'm a narcissist, not because I'm just dissociated from myself, but it's just more of like what I did to make myself feel better. Especially in this society where people kind of judge everything and everybody and kind of try to make each other as small as possible so like one of us stands out. This sort of like competitiveness that I didn't know exists until I entered secondary school or like high school. Sometimes all it takes for you to stay sane is to be crazy. And I relate to that so much because the whole manipulativeness and gaslighting attacks me when I was in an acting school. And this whole game kind of felt so surreal, but it just felt like I needed to be in the game to kind of make people understand where I'm coming from. Like every time I have something to say, people have something to talk back. And it's just, hey, it would be nice if like you don't have judgments on anything. But unfortunately, this is how we were taught growing up. All in all, I just want to say being crazy, it's okay. Like, it's not even okay, it's just normal at this point. Especially when people are driving me crazy or driving you crazy. Be crazy in your own way. Since they want to attack you with negativity, you attack them back with goodness and just stay in your own lane. Don't even react. In this world where overreacting is crazy, the only way for you to not be crazy in this society is to control how you react to things. There are times when I feel like throwing a chair across somebody's faces. I feel like punching somebody in the face, but I can't. Respectfully, I can't. And all I could do that, it's probably in the spiritual realm, but physically, all I can do is to control my reaction and kind of counteract the attacks, but in a more posh and classy manner. That's what I saw and learned on social media. And that has always worked out for me by speaking up in a classy way that they don't ever expect. Because a lot of people would rather see you overreact and call that losing, which personally I feel like it's just so normal to overreact to somebody who has just attacked you for no reason. So that's what happened in high school to me and to so many other people. And so many people's lives out there that are so similar to me, but in different bodies, if that makes sense. Yeah. With that, it's late and you're not alone. Good night.